Well, cheers, and how you do, buckaroos? This is a test. Hey, I was trying to see if this would work. We've had to get new phones. Ours were getting old and going belly up. But on the old phone, I couldn't. If I was doing it on the phone, I couldn't get the full screen. So I was trying it on this one to see if it would work. I bought these a few weeks ago. Vanilla bean buffalo sweat, buffalo cream style brew with vanilla beans. I'll let that sit for a second. I'm also going to pair it. Pair it, not parrot. Pair it. Pair it with some Four Roses. Single barrel. This is a special single barrel batch for the folks at Doctor's Orders. Let me show you that label here. This is a 100 proof bourbon. It was only $39 a bottle, so I mean that's really not bad for a 100 proof single barrel whiskey. It really is not. Pour me 1.5 ounces in my Jameson glass. How do I know it's 1.5 ounces? Because the line says so. Anyways, we pour that there. We put that up. If you can hear the music, of course, I don't own any rights to any of it. I'm cranking my Pandora as we speak. My laptop's going belly up. It's a couple years old. It's about 3 years old, and wasn't a great one in the first place. But now, the last couple of videos I've done, I heard crackles. I'm trying to get to where if I can see if I can do the videos on this, but I thought I'd just go live here. Finish pouring that. There we go. Vanilla bean buffalo sweat. Now the first time I had buffalo sweat, the regular buffalo sweat anyway, I really loved it. And then when I had the vanilla bean sweat later, I really loved it too. The last time I had it, to be honest with you, I thought it was a fine beer. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. It was just my taste buds have changed. That I felt it was a little sweet. That doesn't necessarily make it a bad beer. It just means, that's how I taste it. And I think that's the issue I have with a lot of so-called beer reviewers. If it doesn't work for them, they label it a bad beer. If you can't spot flaws, you shouldn't call something bad, even though the flavors may not work for you. As I've gotten older, I've noticed that I'm more sensitive to sugars than I was in the past. So a lot of certain stouts, cream stouts, milk stouts will tend to taste a little too sweet for me. And there's other stouts that I've had other folks that say they're too bitter for them, that are just right for me. So I don't know. It is just how you taste something. This pours beautifully though. That nice jet black there. Pour it in a snifter, but the nose is very sweet. I get a combination of a very sweet chocolate and vanilla, almost a marshmallow cream-like aroma as well. It's nice, actually. I was thinking last time I had it, it felt too sweet. It is very sweet. And it's not certainly a beer that I would have a lot, but it is done well. Which is mainly why I decided to pair it with the bourbon. Well, what the hell? Let's make it with some bourbon, and then that'll balance that sweetness. Although this Four Roses is just gorgeous. This particular single barrel batch that they picked out is a 35% rye blend. It's very spicy. The nose is slightly sweet. I personally get a nice amount of vanilla, some toffee, some nutty toffee. I'm almost getting hints of amaretto in there. The late great Bill Perry just finished Waiting for My Luck to Change was a great song. And now the classic Boston More Than a Feeling on Beer Whisper Radio. Anyway, I digress. I think I am going to skip this track, though, to see what they might play next. And instead, I got a commercial. They get mad when you skip a track, man. So anyway, I'm going to set that bourbon down and go back to the beer here. Is glassware important to a beer? Well, it depends on who you ask, how snobby they are, what kind of beer geek they are. It does matter to a point, but truthfully, I think it's mostly in the beer geek's head. I mean, there are certain glasses that I like with certain beers, but I don't know that necessarily makes them better. I just like to pair certain beers with certain glasses. You know, the shaker pint has gotten a bad rap over the last few years. And, you know, back in the early 90s and late 90s, when you first started seeing brew pubs pop up, that was the preferred glass of choice. It was certainly better than your standard Pilsner. So, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it's just in their minds that they think certain glasses are better. But if we're talking personal preference, yeah, I mean, I do like a stout in a snifter. Certain stouts, imperial stouts, a lot of them I will put in a pub glass. If I've got one handy here to give you an idea, I do. I've been pouring my, you know, my Irish stouts in a glass like this. I love the pub glass. I have some Nonic pints, but I don't have any here, or imperial pint glasses. I don't have them here in my little apartment here. Yeah, I think a lot of it's just in our minds. I mean, there are certain glasses that I like. There are certain glasses I like a snifter or a Belgian with. There are certain glasses that, you know. I mean, I've got some nice Pilsners that I've been pouring, but I don't know that it matters all that much. I think a lot of it's in their minds. I'm certainly not going to make fun of somebody for using a different glass. Trying to adjust my camera there. Because there's just no reason for that, man. Don't be a jackass. Oh. So I just wanted to see if this application would work. I am looking at going to St. Louis for the weekend. And I want to figure out how this damn thing works before I get there. Oh, excuse me. There's a handful of breweries. I haven't been to St. Louis since 2015. 2016. I guess I went to 2016. But I didn't get to any breweries. And there's been several that have opened up since then. I've been to, back in 2015, I went to For Hands. But I met a friend there and we were talking. And I didn't do any videos there because we were just talking and enjoying. Oh, sorry, my eyes and my nose allergies are just killing me. So anyway, I like to get back to Four Hands, but there's a lot of new ones that have opened up, or a lot of them that I just hadn't had a chance to get to. Of course, the ones that people talk about a lot are Perennial and Side Project, but there's one I just heard about and found called Well Spent I'd like to hit. And there's a handful of others, so I don't want to mention any names. I don't know how many. The truth is, I'm only there Saturday. When I get there, you know, afternoon Saturday, be all there Sunday, and back home early Monday. So I'm obviously not going to get to every place I want to go. So, and I think the problem is if you try to plan too much, you're disappointed that you didn't hit any. So I'm not going to plan a damn thing. I've got a handful in mind that I'd like to get to. I'm just going to see where things happen to take us. I'll get to the ones I can. And to be honest with you, I'm not really a one beer and go or a one flight and go guy for the most part. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, I like to sit and relax and enjoy it. So I'd rather hit, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 and have, you know, 2, 3, or 4 beers in each one and relax and enjoy the ambiance and get to know the people that go in there, rather than have one quick beer, one quick flight and be gone and not talk to anybody. I'm a very sociable guy. So. I joke that I'm a extroverted loner because I like to go to places alone. But I do, you know, I don't dislike being around people. In fact, I kind of like talking to people. But yeah, you know, the problem is when you go to places with a lot of people, you're obligated, or it would be rude not to stay in that crew. And I like to mingle. So yeah, I mean, I'm one of those guys. I don't mind going to bars, even Brewfest alone, because I'm going to talk to somebody. I'm going to find people I know, whether I go or whether I arrive with them or not. And for those of you that know us, know St. Louis is kind of special for my wife and I anyway. Our son spent a lot of time at St. Louis Children's Hospital. We lost him to cancer. It'll be 5 years ago this year, which is kind of why we decided to plan this trip. Right about now, kind of making a family trip as my wife, daughter, and myself. My wife and I have been in so much pain the last 5 years, and sometimes we forget how much it's taken a toll on our daughter as well. So we've decided, the three, we used to take talking to our daughter recently, she remembered we did. I really couldn't afford big vacations, but we would take these spontaneous weekend trips. Whenever we were able to have the money, or have enough saved, we would just usually these, anywhere between 2 to 6 hour drives, for the weekend, sometimes 2 or 3 days. And anyway, she says, now that she's a mom herself in her late 20s, these are the memories that are most important to her. And we said, you know what, we're going to do that. So the three of us are going to take a family trip, and Seamus will be with us in spirit. They're going to do some shopping. I'm going to hit some breweries, but we're going to do some things together as well. We're going to hit some of the places that were important to Seamus, and not in, I don't know what's the right word, not completely reminiscing, but more in, I don't know what's the right word, just kind of, sometimes, we look back, for a long time, we look back at things, or certain memories would just make us cry, and then you get to where they don't necessarily make you cry, but they make you sad. We're trying to get to the point where we go back to these places that were important to Seamus, and we can remember him smiling and laughing and having fun there. So that's kind of what we're doing there. There was a bubble tea place on the Loop, there on the Delmar Loop in St. Louis that Seamus likes. So my wife and daughter love bubble tea, so we're going to visit there. And there's a few other things that we'll do. But like I said, I don't really want to plan anything because I don't want it to be disappointed if we miss it. But my eyes and everything is driving me crazy. Anyway, I'm losing my marbles. So have one last sip of whiskey and I'll put it down, go back to the beer. I wish the weather would cooperate more. This weather's been crazy here. It started getting warm, like spring-like, and my nose won't quit itching. And now it's kind of dipped back into winter again. And it's going to be in about the low 40s over the weekend. I was hoping it'd be more of the, high 50s. But anyway, it is what it is. Trying to get used to the angle because I'm looking straight at it. It looks like I'm looking off to the side. So this is going to take me a minute to figure out the camera on this particular phone, man. So yes, you certainly get. I get some chocolate notes, almost like a Tootsie Roll kind of chocolate. I get some sweet vanilla. Again, I'd like to know, it's almost like a marshmallow cream. Also feel like I'm getting the slightest hint of anise there. It's nice. It certainly isn't bad. I found the 4-pack was on sale, so I figured, well, what the hell. Or the 6-pack, rather. It was like a $7.99 a 6-pack. Anyway, Bill Perry now, the late, great Bill Perry. Too hot. Bill Perry this guy was amazing. I had the privilege of seeing him live twice. The guy was just a genius, man. Arguably the best blues rock guitar player of his time. I think anybody that had ever seen him would agree with me. But this particular song was from Crazy Kind of Life, so look up the CD, man. It's brilliant. Anyways, let me set that down. Let me work on the whiskey. I'm going to finish this video up. Ran it longer than I had intended. Meant it for just to be a quick test, but what the fuck? You never know, right? I am Tom, a Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom man. I am also Tom the Beer Whisperer. BeerVangelist, prolific beer drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom man. Cheese whiz, all around good guy. You have a good one. If I get it turned off now. The buttons, it's a little sensitive there. We go.